Every time I discover something destructive in the game, I feel a little creep out because it's like someone is looking at me waiting to slap me in the face for naming something like the most destructive in Warframe. I mean, let's admit it, even though we discover any synergies that are brutal, we can't deny the fact that when it comes to destructive power, Octavia reigns supreme. No other Warframe can match the godlike destruction that Octavia can bring. Her mallet is the most overpowered ability when it comes to killing enemies in the game. It does scale with enemy level, so even if they are level 10,000 plus, it doesn't matter as her mallet ability will just reflect the amount of damage it acquires. However, it may seem very easy at first glance to use Octavia, but it does require a bit of knowledge to master this frame. It's not that hard though, as you will only need to know how to activate infinite invisibility for survivability, and maximum DPS output on your mallet. If you want to learn how to do these things, then stick around as I will tell you the ways of Octavia. Before we head to the build section of this guide, I will discuss first Octavia's Manacord. How easy you can activate Octavia's invisibility and her other buffs, and how hard mallet hits depends on the song you pick on your Manacord. Take note that this guide is in no way of hindering you from how you want to play Octavia. The things that you will see and hear in this video are suggestions and you can either follow it or not. So basically, if you want your mallet to have a constant DPS, then I would advise filling all the notes on the percussion. These grey notes here affects the number of times your mallet can damage the enemy. Every note means a tick of damage and I suggest you fill these notes as much as possible. On the other hand, the melody, which affects your metronome ability, should somehow be rhythmic and easy to follow. I'm not saying that there's a standard rhythm for melody, but what I'm suggesting is finding a melody that you can follow easily, so you can proc all your metronome buff, especially the invisibility. The secret to having infinite invisibility is having a Manacord melody that is easy to use. For the bass part, this doesn't affect anything gameplay wise. It affects your resonator, but maxing this part will not yield you with anything, as it won't do anything for your resonator. If you want, you can use this Mortal Kombat song I'm using for years. But a little disclaimer before we continue, I did not made this song, and I only copied it from a Manacord artist Buffoon. You can check his or her channel later as I will leave the link to it on the pinned comment below. In fact, there are many Manacord songs on the internet, all you need is to find the perfect one for your playstyle. Okay, now let's move on to the build. Now I'm sorry if this Octavia build took long to release, as I was kind of holding this video back due to sponsorship. This video was supposed to have a sponsor, but sadly, the company ghosted me. They didn't reply for a few weeks and I decided to not pursue the sponsorship. So anyway, this is the build I'm using during my 8 hours long survival run on the Void. This build will make level 10,000 enemies super easy, and this is what works for my playstyle. Some may like camping in one spot with Octavia, but I love to move a lot. That is why I decided to have high duration and efficiency, so I can cast my abilities anytime I want. In my case, I always use Zenuric for emergency energy regeneration and I don't have any problem with the 300 base energy. However, you can tweak this build by removing Blind Rage on the mod setup. Honestly, power strength is just a personal preference or only useful for missions wherein you need to buff your weapons with Octavia's amp ability. In solo endurance runs, you will have no problem even with the 110% power strength. It's because your mallet ability will absorb all the damage of the enemies. The higher their damage, the more damage that the mallet can inflict. Power strength only contributes to how fast the enemy will die since it increases the damage multiplier. If you somehow want to add power strength for the damage multiplier, then you can do so, but as I've said, it's not important, especially if you have a song that can constantly damage enemies. Lastly, I love to run a high range Octavia. In my case, I usually run overextended and stretch to counter narrow-minded's negative effect. This will give my mallet a total of 16 meters, and it gets doubled when I place my amp ability on the ground. This is enough to cover a lot of room area, and it's pretty good against those range of enemies. In conclusion, Octavia is pretty easy to play. All you need to do is know all the stuff needed to have infinite invisibility, and constant DPS on your mallet. After that, hide with Nocturne, drop your mallet, cast amp, and see those dumb enemies kill themselves. I hope that you enjoyed and find this video informative. If you want to see more content from us, then don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.
This is the future. Human error. Evolution. This is the future.